The best thing to do for registration is to talk to your advisor first to find out what exactly you need to take before you just take a whole bunch of classes. Because I know a lot of people who took classes that they had no idea why they took it, and they just wasted all their time and money.
I was an incoming freshman at CSI. I remember they showed us how to register online. They didn't pick our classes for us. We did everything ourselves. So they showed us step by step how to do it, and then we went home and did it.
I actually registered the day before school started, and I had a gap because I'm a commuter. I had a gap from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. and then I had classes until 9 o'clock. So that's why now I know, and if someone asks me about registration, it's very important to do it on time.
If you registered through CUNY First, which is the new system now, you have to bring your CUNY ID and your social security.
You got to get a sealed copy of your transcript. It has to be sealed. I went to my high school like 4 times to get it, and they kept on making me come back and come back.
I had to do the same story with me. I had to go back and back, yeah.
They made me bring that, what's it called, immunization card? How to bring that, social security. I got it from my mom's drawer. I said, I was like, Mom, I need my card. And then she's like, here it goes. And I was like, oh, this is it?
I usually fill out my FAFSA just to make corrections on January 1st, like immediately when it hits January 1st. And then once my parents fill out their taxes, that's when I make the final corrections and submit it.
When it's time to register for classes and to get your financial aid together, that's the time you want to be a morning person, because I've gotten up to go bring in papers for verification, and the line for financial aid will be around the block.
And that is such a pain for verification because you have to keep coming back to the office, and there's always a crazy line on the financial aid office. And then you get to the front of the line and you show them their papers, and they'll say, oh, you forgot one more paper. We can't see you today. Just make sure you have all your papers and stuff like that.
But also when you do get paperwork back, to make sure to save that and put it in a safe place. Because I've had a couple of instances where they're like, you owe us money. And I was like, no, I don't. Anything you get back, period, from, the bursar, receipts or registrar or financial aid, it's important to keep that somewhere safe.
Just make sure you keep track of what financial aid you're getting, because sometimes the financial aid office can overpay you, and then you have to pay that back, even though it was their fault.
That's what I do. I ask first, then spend later. I don't spend first no more, no. But I haven't before.
Normally your tuition should be taken care of automatically. They take whatever they need for tuition and the rest is returned to you, which you should use for books or housing if you dorm, or even if you live in an apartment. That's still an expense of you going to school.
Beware, take caution, because sometimes those financial aid officers can have a really mean attitude. I'm just saying.
Yes, you're gonna come across nasty people, but smiles and thank yous all the time. You don't want to be that student that puts them over the edge. You want to be that student that they're like, oh, well, here's someone who's being respectful.
Academic center, I go in there probably once a year to see where I'm at. I go to career center more often now because I need to look into colleges and stuff like that.
There's help with writing your resume, writing a cover letter, finding internships. If you graduated, you can go as an alumni and they'll help you try to find a job. I've used the writing center before just to help me write my resume. And there's a lot of great resources, but you also have to ask around because a lot of these things aren't advertised. So if you're looking for the help, you'll find it. You just have to ask.
Professor should be the first stop in any situation. The professor doesn't know who you are. They most of the time can't put a face to what grades you're making. So if you're struggling, you need to go to your professor. That way you get to know the professor, but then the professor also appreciates that you're trying.
If they actually know who you are, they'll be much more lenient, or at least they'll understand.
I knew I was doing good in this class when I walked in late one day and the professor said, Atiba, I missed you. And I said, oh, I know I'm passing now.
I actually hung out with one of my psych professors for the whole semester, And every day, almost after class, I think it was after class, I would just go to his office hours and hang out with him. And it was a nice experience, you know, they're people too. Yeah. High school, you're forced to go to. College, you choose to go to. And you're paying money to go there, so you better go, as opposed to high school where they'll just yell at you if you don't go. You know, like, it doesn't feel mandatory anymore. It feels like you're accomplishing something.
I feel like in college you kind of reinvent yourself because you're not the person you were in high school, and like nobody knows the person you were in high school really. So it's all up to you.
You could have been like a C student in high school and all of a sudden you're an A+ student in college. Like, that's the best part. You have an opportunity to completely like come back.
College is a little more fun. You grow more. Like when I see my old high school teachers, they ain't see me. They be like, I can't believe you went to college. I can't believe. Hold on, you're doing this now? It's amazing. Like you can really find yourself and grow.
Life wouldn't have been like super exciting had I not gone to college and not, you know, been able to find out about things like study abroad. You could explore new careers through internships or going to conferences, even like explore, you know, other parts of your city and get to know more about that through some of the classes you take.
College is college. You're on your own. You're not on your own because professors and school sources are there to help you, but it feels good.
That's how I feel, but I love college.
Don't join so many clubs and organizations. Like, really, you know, school is your main priority. So first tackle that and then add on stuff, but not too much stuff. And don't work full time.
I will tell them join one club their first year. Focus more on school. You gotta have your fun, you know, your college, you know. College changed everybody's lives. So I would tell them just, you know, slowly progress socially, but don't jump the gun and just do everything your first year.
I know part of what helped me decide where I was going to go to school was like seeing what kind of scholarships or programs were available.
So I would say something simple like check your college email. Just because they email you so many great things, and I know like seriously like 70% of the population in my school does not check their college email, and they don't know about events and especially events with free food. Like, come on, it's free food. If you're a broke college student like me, like, it's a great advantage.
Joining clubs is great, but like if you've never had an internship, if you've never volunteered, if you've never done research, if research is a part of your field, then that's like gonna reflect poorly on like when you're trying to apply to certain programs or jobs. So like do your research on what's available.